everybody. I'm Katie Arroyo.
And I'm Laura Manasowicz.
And this is Pinky Promise, a podcast about growing up. And I'm really excited today about our guest. I'm excited about our guest, and I'm super excited to hear about her story. We are very happy to have actress and comedian and the host of The Ring Ring with Renie Rivas, Renie Rivas.
Woo!
Hi, Renie.
Hi, ladies.
Thanks for
having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. So you have certainly the most unique topic that we've had to date, as far as we've had no repetitions at all of this topic to date. There's always room for more stories. But basically, you told us that you had an early age, we'll say
Compulsion?
porn. Yeah, compulsion. A compulsion for porn. And we, of course, immediately were like, yes, we need to hear all about this. It's wildly interesting. And I don't know, Laura, did you, I think a lot of kids growing up have definitely probably a compulsion level interest in porn. And it's just a matter of if they have access to it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really, like, I'm certain I encountered it and quickly, like, got embarrassed or was like, not for me. And I don't think I watched, like, real porn. I mean, I don't know, certainly maybe in college, but maybe after. Like, I had friends, like, younger, you had like a friend who had HBO and they would show you the like crotch rubbing stuff, and like that I think was like my first exposure to like to that sort of thing, right? Where I was like, okay, is this what it is? Because I didn't know in my real life. I was like, it looks like they're just rubbing their butts on each other. And then took that into my personal life and grew from it. So
I had a friend that had Skinamax, and so we watched it in 7th grade. Was probably the first time that we had access to a video, or like it was on TV. And or like a movie, we'll say. And it was 3 of us girls, and we were all like, we put it on and we were doing the thing where we were all pretending we didn't want to watch it. Like, we were like, ha ha.
Cover your eyes. Right.
And then we just like got through it, and then it wasn't even good. I remember like they were on a boat. This was probably the first time I actually watched one knowing what it was. The first porn I ever saw was a softcore porn that my same friend, cousin, her male cousin, put it on the TV. I think he just put like Skinamax on, and it was also the first time we were really drinking. So we were drinking peach schnapps with orange juice secretly all day. We thought we were so smooth. And
so you're getting diabetes.
Yeah, we're getting
porn.
Yeah, I was like hyper glucose levels. And this movie was on, and this alien like landed in a barn, and then the alien was a guy and just started like making out with this woman. And I remember watching the movie and being like, and it was just like on in the background while we played pool. And I remember watching it and being like, this movie sucks. Like, I was like, why is she making out with this guy? They haven't even had a conversation. How do they know they like each other? What is the plot of this movie? And I remember just being like, this movie sucks so bad. I was like, did not even get that I was supposed to be watching not the conversation.
Right. 0 stars.
Yeah, I was like 0 stars, no character development. I don't even know what this is. Like, I was a huge, super into movies at the time, and I was like, this movie blows. And then we deliberately watched the one where I at least had an idea of what was going on, and I will never forget that it was a threesome. So it was 2 women and this guy who was like an older captain of a boat, of course.
Another boat?
Yeah, I was like, so every porn I saw
Is
under
this
the age
like-
of 15 was like an adventure vacation porn. Like, I don't know what to deal with that. But I never forget that one girl was like slapping the other girl's vagina. And I remember like, in there, you know how I think, I don't know if porn's gotten better or worse, but it used to be like, there was very little that happened to women that gave them pleasure on the movie actually gives women pleasure in real life. And I remember the girl, the girl was like, oh, like just going for it, and this other girl was just slapping her. And I remember to my friends, I was like, I cannot imagine that feels good. Like that's something that would feel good. I remember being completely like, I was just like, I hope that's not what I'm gonna have to do later. Like this is gonna be a nightmare. And then I feel like the rest of it was like, for a while, because Pornhub didn't exist and you just had to have, we didn't even have regular, we were broke, so we like barely had real cable. So it was like you had to go to a friend's house and hope that they were around at 11 p.m. to like find,
See through all of the like scratchy
scribbles. Yeah. So it was like those two movies, and then I just don't remember anything to do with it until later, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But you started early.
Yeah, it wasn't like I went out to go hunt for some hardcore porn. As a third grader, that was really far from my mind, and I had just beaten my compulsion to bite my nails, and I felt like that was too much for me. That was too intense, overwhelming. I finally broke through. Stopped chewing my fingers down to nothing. And near the end of third grade, my dad got an illegal cable box.
Okay.
So you get all the free channels and you get the unscrambled ones.
Yes.
Yep. And I had to do a little research about this because I remember seeing graphic hardcore images. But when I looked up the Spice channel, which is what I remember, that was the porno channel I watched the most. When I looked it up, it started out as a softcore porn channel. And they would film the hardcore porn simultaneously with shots that were softcore. So they would film a hardcore porno and strategically place a vase or an elbow like to cover the naughty bits, so you just see the facial expressions and
the motion,
dolphin-like undulation. But yeah, I found out that it became something called Spice Hot. And I guess I was able to tune in right when it started becoming less Skinamax and more
true,
paid subscription kind of.
Well, I was going to say, even at that age, I think if I saw softcore porn, my memory now would be like, oh yeah, that was wild.
That was
rough. So I think just seeing anything would be crazy. So even if it wasn't, your brain would like process it that way.
Yes, and I considered that, but having never seen an erect penis like that.
Yeah.
Or, a close-up vagina and what that's like, and people putting their mouths on them, that's so indelible.
Yeah,
I absolutely
I know I didn't make that.
I can't imagine it was a strategically placed vase.
I think it's not what you saw.
Renie, she was eating a popsicle.
Oh, she was so hungry. Yeah. Yeah, there was a seafood buffet and they just needed to check out all the oysters. Like, are these still good?
You said third grade?
Yeah, late, like third grade either just ended or it was near the end of third grade.
Okay.
So were you just watching TV late one night and flipping through channels or something? Or like, how did you come across it?
Unfortunately, it's as innocent as it sounds, where I really just wanted to watch Ace Ventura or whatever pay-per-view movie was on. And then I knew about those channels, and then I discovered one of the channels had hardcore sex on it. So just imagine
Right.
a third grade girl with a bowl cut and bifocal like bifocal glasses, pushing the buttons because we didn't have a remote for the illegal box. You had to
Yeah.
you had to cower over this big VCR looking box and look over your shoulder in case someone catches you watching Ace Ventura.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You wouldn't want them to catch you. So there were times where my parents would walk in the door and I was like trying to hide the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
So what time of day were you watching this? Like, were you watching this like in late at night, or like regular when everyone's up running around?
Well, it started with me discovering it at night after my parents went to sleep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was compelled to keep watching it, I had turned the volume all the way down. So I'd watch it with the volume all the way down. There's no mute button here, guys. This is the old
Yeah.
We have to mute our porn the old way and push the volume button all the way down to mute our sex sounds. So it was the image of catching a boy masturbating and mom goes, "Honey, I have the towels ready." And like, "Oh, no, nothing. I'm doing nothing at all." Okay, here's the towels. Enjoy Ace Ventura.
Was your household, like, obviously they weren't like, good job finding the porn, but what was it, like, very strict or like free flowy progressive or somewhere in the middle?
They never restricted what we watched on regular cable.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were really open-minded, and they thought shielding us from stuff was kind of absurd. But with the pornography, I truly believe neither of them realized at first that if you get pay-per-view, there's also this sex channel that comes with it.
Yeah.
Because my dad would buy pay-per-view boxing fights, and we all loved movies, and our neighbor had the hookup, so the neighbor hooked us up with the illegal cable box, and they got what they wanted, and then this other side effect came with it, which is exposing your children, maybe not intentionally, to images they shouldn't see. So I am sure they figured it out later on. Yeah. I'm sure. But by that point, I already beat my compulsion, which was in fourth grade. And I do want a chip. Thank you. It was very hard. It was one day at a time. I wish I had all of those AA phrases.
Yeah.
Because
Did they ever catch you watching it?
They never caught me masturbating.
I was going to ask if you did anything while you're watching it, or if you just watched it.
Right. Well, I was so scared of being caught doing that, I would watch it until I was feeling enough feelings, and then I would go to my room.
Right. Because this is the olden days, right? So you're in the living room. It's not every kid has an iPad in their bedroom or whatever.
Yes. Let me paint this incredibly inappropriate scene. Yes, it is a living room. The whole family watches TV in the living room. We had a condo. I had a room near the hallway. So I was seeing things I've never seen and learning, and that's the damage here. Is the accessibility today makes this far more commonplace than mine.
Yeah.
Than my situation. I didn't tell anybody about this. I didn't know anybody who even knew what pornography was at that age.
Yeah.
Right. I think that was my question, is like, could you take this to your friends? Was it
no,
look what I found, or it was like, holy shit, this stays.
This is the secret. This is the Pandora's box. You keep it closed.
So
no.
Yeah. So you found it and watched it one time, and then were you just like in intrigued by it, or like you watched it once and then how long did it take until you watched it again?
Oh, probably the next day. It was
Okay.
It was there.
It was
Yeah.
like a drug,
Yeah.
you know? It was so new and exciting and crazy. And I had feelings I did not connect to sex yet
Yeah.
Right.
because of my body. And this
Yeah.
feels good. And the closest I had to sexual fantasies were cartoons, like having
Yeah.
like having a crush on a cartoon.
Right.
I mean, have you seen Sonic the Hedgehog when he's idle? When Sonic the Hedgehog is waiting for you and he gives you those bedroom eyes?
Yeah.
And he's tapping his toe? Like, come on already. We have to
We have things to do in bed.
we have to run really fast and get a gold coin. That's what I thought the climax was. You know?
Right.
I don't know. I didn't have an orgasm yet, so I certainly didn't know what the goal was there.
Yeah.
Sure.
With having feelings that culminated into something else.
Yeah, how confusing. You're like
very.
sort of waking up to you have a body and it does stuff, and then it
Yeah.
starts moving too fast, right?
Right.
And you're like, what the fuck? Are you betraying me? What is
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah,
Like,
too fast.
Did you recognize it as arousal, or were you just like, I'm
Yes.
feeling weird feelings?
No, I became incredibly curious about
Okay.
sexuality. And I know in third grade, I got in trouble, or I was with the boys in my class laughing because we were looking up words in the dictionary.
Yes.
And it was brought up by me, like looking up,
Is this
looking up
before
penis
or after?
after.
Okay.
So we were looking up words in the dictionary, and the teacher's like, "Are you curious about those words?" And she embarrassed the hell out of us, but I was secretly so appreciative. I was like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Tell me more."
What an angel.
Oh, I can't believe she caught us looking up penis. Oh no. But with that curiosity, I am curious, after both of you ladies shared your sexual imagery that you saw first. Laura and Katie, you said you thought butts were rubbing together.
Yeah, like
Laura?
the softcore stuff was just like a
Yeah.
butt in a front, like right.
Okay.
Often a woman in front, right? So, because
Right.
with the HBO stuff, you never saw a penis, but you could look at a woman's body.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
So yeah, I just remember being like, I thought like, because I think I knew I knew that pornography was supposed to be sex, which I
Mhm.
had not seen or done, but I was like, it doesn't look like, my understanding of this is that is supposed to go in there, but it looks like they're just smushing around.
Butts.
Which they might have just been smushing around for
They might
filming
have.
sake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. For filming's sake, they were probably just smushing around. But I was like, I guess this is hot.
Okay.
And then and then it would transition to like, do you remember the show Real Sex on
Yes.
HBO?
Yes. Yes.
Then it would just be like drunks outside talking about the sex that they have, and like that to me was more informational because I would be like, you couldn't see it, but I could like listen to them talk about what it was.
Yeah. I don't condone this. I don't recommend anybody expose young children to that, but I will say the silver lining a little bit is that I was extremely informed of sex when my friends said stupid things that weren't true that they believed.
Yeah.
So, for example, in fourth grade, I remember my friend Ashley saying, grown-ups are so weird when they make a baby. All they have to do is put the penis in the vagina. They don't have to like move around or do all that stuff. It's so dumb. And I said, actually they do, because the man needs to have an erection and then it gets bigger and then it like really graphic. And that's a funny fourth grade conversation.
And they're like, what is your mom telling her? And you're like, no, we have a big cable box.
You're like,
I'm
I have
finding
a
it out of my
tutor.
head.
I have a sex tutor. He's called Cable Box.
It's the Pandora's Spice box.
Yeah.
What is it? The Pandora's illegal cable box.
Yeah,
That's
there
what
we
it is.
go.
That's right.
Okay, but saying
so
that
you're
kids
Yeah, go
don't
ahead.
kids don't need to know all of that. So
yeah.
the big picture is that this is bad. I'm not saying how great this fourth
Sure.
this fourth grader totally schooled them. Like no, that's not so great.
No, this is a large mental toll for you, especially because you kept
Right.
it to yourself.
Yeah, and then so
Yeah.
I guess being that young, why did you think to stop? You know what I mean? Like what happened that made you want to stop watching it?
Oh, I was obsessed with it. I thought about it all day. I thought about
Okay.
it at school, and I went to Christian school, and I remember in class there was a Bible class where one of the topics of discussion was why should people wait to have sex until they're married? And I said,
This was
well,
in
because
third
if
grade?
they start having it, fourth grade.
Okay.
My answer clearly suggested I know a little more, and I wonder why the teachers didn't like pull me aside. Because my answer to that was, well, if you start having sex before marriage, then it's all you're gonna think about, and you're gonna want it all the time, and then you can't, and then you can't do things. You can't focus on your work and your school because you always want to have sex.
Oh my God.
I guarantee those whatever teacher was there was probably like, this sounds fucked up, but I don't know how to address this. Like, so I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear it.
So did you really attribute it to being like, oh no, this is just like my fingernails? Like, were you able to use that like processing, or this was its own thing?
Oh, it was my fingernails for sure. That's why
Okay.
I brought it up, because I thought of it the same way, because I couldn't stop, and then I stopped, and I thought at one point in fourth grade it was just ridiculous. I felt like it's every day I have to watch this.
So what would be like, what was your day? So like you'd get up, go to school, and then do any schoolwork, and then what? Like how did you watch it? Like you went to bed and snuck out of your bedroom?
I think I would just stay up late, or
Okay.
I don't remember ever sneaking out of my bedroom. I think I just stayed up late because my parents woke up at 5:30 in the morning to go running.
Okay.
They went for a morning jog, so they woke up every morning at 5:30, and they went to sleep at like 9:30.
Okay.
9, maybe 9. Yeah, so I would sneak over and keep looking over my shoulder. I remember the number 56. I wonder if 56 was the Spice Hot channel or if it was Nickelodeon, because both were equally important to me.
Yeah.
And I remember typing in 56. And I cannot tell you if it was Nickelodeon or hardcore porno.
It's one of the two.
Both very formative.
One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was also a softcore. I think there was another channel, and from my cursory research, it might have been the Playboy channel. There was some other pay-per-view porn channel that just had some of that boring vase stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
You're like, that's too boring for me. I've got the good
I
stuff
would watch
over
it
on
sometimes.
56. Yeah.
I would actually feel bad. I would feel like maybe this is a good movie, but I don't know.
Right.
Maybe I'll keep watching this one.
So time sorry.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, so time in front of the TV was sort of specific and you know, watched and while watching over your shoulder, but then I imagine rest of your time awake was spent thinking about when you could be in front of the television again.
That happened a lot, and in my memory it's every day.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't every day. It was just so consuming on my mind, and I was masturbating, and I couldn't talk to anyone about that.
So how did you even like figure out how to do that? Like,
well, I had a pretty graphic detailed,
I guess, yeah.
imagery. like I think I know how to do this.
Well,
now.
and that's interesting because I feel like in I feel like you start hearing about boys doing it around like middle schoolish, right? And it's very badge of honor, or like butt of the joke, but it is widely accepted that this is what happens, and no one ever like, it's like an insult to tell a girl that or to like insinuate that a girl is also doing it. It's like they're all doing it, but it's this cloak, right, that we live under that's like, no, girls aren't allowed to do
like,
anything
that's
for
not
themselves.
cool. Yeah.
But you're like watching women, again, not too young to know this, but you're getting an idea that like, no, I can see that this is something that happens too.
And also see that women like it.
Right.
Because the actresses may be putting it on a little bit, but they obviously are having fun.
Right.
And when you opened the show, you said this is such a unique story. And I think it's so sad that it's because it's taboo.
Right.
Yeah.
A young girl talking about this is so rare. And I think like every male comedian we've ever heard of talks about how he was wanking it with his boys, or found his dad's Playboys when he was a kid, a boy, a child.
Same, right.
Talking about slapping their minuscule meat or whatever is going on. I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's funny instead of disturbing. So, I mean, consider I'm so beyond being a feminist or knowing anything about female pleasure and having feelings and seeing these images. It was a lot to take in, and I didn't learn what an orgasm was until 5th grade, and it was in Oprah magazine.
Oh, really?
It was Oprah magazine, so every time I see the O for Oprah, I always think orgasm, because she tipped me off.
Thanks,
Oprah magazine.
What did she say? Because so we always heard about orgasms, but we never. This is the other thing for guys. There's like a pretty distinct way to tell if you've had an orgasm, and then women.
Yes.
I remember
oh my God, good point.
Yeah, I remember with friends being like, I think I had one, and then everyone's like, no, you'll know. And you're like, will I? And then it happens and you're like, oh, yes, I will. Okay. And like, I think when you're young too, you can like give yourself shitty orgasms and you're like, I don't think that's what that is. Not recognizing that like you can have varying degrees of feelings when this is happening. But with boys or men, it's like pretty clear. They're like, I definitely had one. And with women, they're like, I don't know, maybe. Like, I'm not sure.
Katie, what a good point. What a great point. I can't stop thinking about that. We didn't have the proof that they had.
Yeah.
So what did Oprah tell you?
Well, her and Gail, they told me about the G-spot. They talked about clitoral orgasms. It was it could have been about anything. Having that discovery is the only thing I remember.
Yeah.
Like the article, because I put the magazine down and I even looked up, and I think I was still Christian at that point, and I went, God, thank you. I know what this is. I know what it is now.
That is interesting to be like, you're getting yeah. Well, okay, so that makes me think two things. The first thing is, it is interesting because you're getting so much visual information, but you're not getting any words for anything that you're watching. Because it's not like in a porn, they're normally like, give me some clitoral stimulation. You know what I mean? They're just like doing whatever is happening and no one's talking about it.
Right.
And then the other thing I was going to ask was, you did mention that you were raised in a Christian household. Did you feel guilty at all about watching this stuff or enjoying it?
I did feel guilty for a couple of different reasons. One was because I liked the women and I was confused.
Yeah.
Like, because I know I've always liked women, but you know, when you're in first grade and you know you like girls, it's not the same as lesbian fantasies. It's so
you went from innocent crush to
yeah. But it was so clear as day because I've always known since kindergarten I liked girls in that integral way. I just knew.
Mm-hmm.
But having the visual manifestation of what those people do when they grow up, I'm like, oh, that's what they do. Oh no, I like this. I keep watching this. But talking about how you don't hear what's really going on, it's for the male gaze, it's for the male ears, right?
Yeah.
So like you said, they're not saying, yeah, baby, let me do what I need to stimulate your erogenous zones.
Yeah.
And
or checking in to see if they're into it. It's not part of the deal.
You know, just a consent might have been
a
nice thing to learn about and see.
I did read an article a couple years ago about two women, and I don't know whatever happened with it, but they were starting a porn studio, and they were, and when I say read an article, I'm realizing I think I mean listen to a podcast, but there was these two women that were starting a porn studio, and they did it because they wanted to create porn that focuses more on female enjoyment and like encompassing those kinds of topics, because men are learning, or boys are learning how to have sex from porn, and it's like, that's not actually sex. So,
yeah, that's how I learned.
That's a lot of vagina slapping.
Yeah.
That's what the boys are doing. The slapping, the butt rubbing. It's so much worse now. So is the studio run by Gail and Oprah?
It was these two women. I can't remember their name. They're a little bit famous.
I mean, they were trailblazers for me and my sexuality.
Yeah.
So if that's their next step, good for them.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy.
They need the work, I'm sure.
The studio is called Oh.
We're taking a new direction with my new phase in life.
So by 4th grade, you had curbed your compulsion. And so then, as your peers are sort of aging up and finding their way into it, were you like, oh, I'm retired from the game? Or did you become a consultant? Or like, how did that work?
That's such a funny way to put it, because from that time on to the present, really, it's kind of like people who only drink socially or at holidays.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, I dabble. You know, it has to be
porn at Christmas. You know,
it has. Yes, well, it has to be a planned occasion where I have a brandy snifter.
That's right.
And the children have gone to bed. The Christmas tree is alight, and I turn on my illegal cable box.
That's right.
To watch a prisoner ask for pussy. You know, that's my holiday.
Okay.
And it's not the obsession, and it never will be again, thankfully.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
But so did you limit how much you could watch it because you're worried about that?
It was really all consuming. And when I stopped in 4th grade, it was a very momentous occasion. I felt like I can do this. I can actually stop watching this stuff.
So you beat something that felt like it was consuming your life, and it was still, you didn't even get to share the joy of like beating something with someone. Like it was all just still internal.
All me. It was me and Jesus, though. I still had Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
Okay, so did something specific happen?
Thank God for God.
Yeah. Did something specific happen to make you want to stop?
I wonder. I don't know.
Because like in 4th grade, it seems like, I mean, I guess we have 4th graders have some pretty prolific thoughts, but it's hard to imagine a 4th grader being like, you know what? This is consuming too much of my life. I don't want it to become a problem. I'm going to stop it. You know what I mean? Like normally with kids, there's like something that occurs that triggers a behavior change. So it's like interesting that you were introspective enough to like recognize that it's a problem, I guess.
Good point. I don't know if it was something truly introspective or maybe there was an event I'm forgetting. Maybe I got embarrassed.
Yeah.
I was always so scared of getting caught.
Yeah, and your parents never caught you?
No, but I know they figured it out. I know that they figured out there was porn on there, and I'm sure my parents had fights about it. They got divorced when I was 15.
Okay.
But communication was not a household trend.
Right.
Nobody
Yeah.
communicated. They yelled when they were mad. But open conversations were not the norm.
And I imagine that fear of getting caught had to be just as significant as any benefit you were getting from watching it, or any like
it was so
presumed
significant.
you know, but like, yeah, I can't imagine like this thing that I'm can't stop thinking about also makes me terrified that I'm going to get in trouble is heavy for a little kid, you know?
And I think probably every time you watch it, you have to deal with coming out to yourself, whether you're ready to do that or not. You know, like every time that you're
what do I even like?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
Right.
I don't mean to overlap.
No,
Sorry.
that's okay.
No.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting. And so as far as techniques to stop, were you just like, all right, I'm not doing it anymore, and then you just stopped?
I might have gotten more creative with masturbating and thought, well,
you're like, I'll still
and I'm off. I think I've got my wings to fly.
That's right.
And now I can figure some stuff out.
You're like, now I just masturbate to the imagination station.
I'm
like
assistant manager
cartoons.
of masturbating now, so
yeah.
So that didn't stop, but you were just like, I'm not gonna watch TV before.
Yeah, I really curbed it a lot, but talking about the imprint that sexual images can leave on a child, I might attribute my attraction to men a couple decades older than me to watching hardcore porn with men that are always older looking.
That's interesting.
I've thought about this a lot because it's something such a thorough line in my life.
Yeah.
Men, I'm like even near my age would repulse me. I thought when I was 10 and 11, I thought I'm gay or I like these like older white men. And I hate to put race to it, but unfortunately that's what comes up. It's always kind of the same type that I'm interested in. And that's been my entire life.
Yeah.
So all kinds of women and this specific type of man.
Yikes. Yeah, that's probably tied in.
Yeah.
That's good on you for picking up on
noticing
that.
it, yeah.
Well, I don't think it's harmed me, but it could harm others.
Fair.
I think it has not harmed me, but these are not images young minds should see.
Yeah.
No.
So did you ever tell your parents about, or have you ever told anybody about it?
As a teen, for sure.
Okay.
Like it was funny.
Yeah.
I definitely told people as a teen.
And that's like a cool party trick story to be like, oh yeah, I used to watch Skinamax on whatever when I was in third grade.
Yeah. That reminds me of a awkward record scratch moment where I was taking one of my first improv classes in Los Angeles. I was 18 or 19, and improv games were all very social. Everybody has to talk to each other, and the topic came up. Someone talked about like inappropriate things for kids to see. And this girl said, I'm going to just say a name of a movie. I don't know what it was, but she said, my parents let me watch Basic Instinct when I was in 4th grade. And everyone's like, oh, And then like I was addicted to hardcore pornography in third grade.
Yeah.
And it was a comedy class, so this was not dark or weird. It was just quiet and very loud with laughter.
Yeah. Like, I don't mean to one-up you, Megan.
Yeah.
But,
I even said it like that because I felt bad because everyone's having a good time with their normal stories.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, you don't want to hear this.
And then now we're talking
and
about
me
it on
turned
the
out.
podcast.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, please.
I was gonna say, and me turned out good.
Laura's got her thinking face on.
I'm just thinking it all over.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that when Laura was asking earlier, so when other people were watching it as you got older in your teen years, were you kind of like been there, done that? Or were you kind of like, I don't want to go back to this problem? Like, do you feel like it would be easy to start watching it obsessively again?
It made it a lot easier when the cable box burned out or my parents got rid of it, which did happen. Maybe not for a really long time though.
Yeah.
We had it for many years, but then it went away, and I didn't have the internet until my last year of high school, so it was really just friends' houses, and if they had VHS porn from their brother.
Yeah.
So like the boat ones you watch.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Katie, when you said the boat one at first, I really thought you were gonna say the Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson one, but it might have been like
at that point, watching that movie, I felt like I wasn't even watching a porn. I felt like I was watching the first reality show I was ever gonna see.
Yes.
Yeah.
That nails it. That's exactly what it was. It was the first reality show
we all saw.
I never saw it.
You didn't. It's mostly him just running around the boat being annoying. Honestly, I thought he's annoying.
I don't feel like I'm missing much.
No,
but.
No.
Yeah.
I used to live next to, as an adult, I used to live like walking distance to a huge porn store. And
oh yeah,
I remember like I was at lunch with a friend of mine one day and we were like, we were just talking about it because it would be like how I would give people directions to my house. I'd be like, you get off the highway, these like huge,
and it was huge
bedroom eyes that are pixelated are staring at you, and it's your first right after those. and we were just talking about the store, and we're like, what does porn cost with the internet being a free for all? And so we went on an educational trip to the porn store to see how much like the DVDs cost, and they were like, at this point, this is probably like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. They were like $50, I want to say.
Very
some of them,
right?
and we were like,
I remember that.
What?
Yeah.
But a connoisseur, I guess, who can't.
It's a collector's item.
Wants the right experience. It's like vinyl, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure there's a subset of hipsters who like their old porn. I like to heat it up.
Yeah.
And throw it on.
I like to feel it in between my hands before I feel it in between my hands.
Have you watched the Netflix documentary on the last Blockbuster?
Yes.
No. I'm interested.
It's really good, but they talk about sort of like how Blockbuster ate up all the mom and pop video shops, and so everyone is sort of talking about the video stores they used to go to and all that stuff, and then they talk about like. And then there was the beaded curtain, and it was like, yes, ubiquitous. I think in everywhere there ever was a small video store, there's been a beaded curtain.
Ours was a saloon.
Oh, like the kick doors?
Yeah, there was yellow. So the colors were like cornflower blue, yellow, and red, and the doors were like yellow swinging doors. And so it kind of looked kid friendly. And I remember asking my dad, like, I remember being what movies are in there? And he's like, don't worry about it. And then we wanted to go through those fucking doors so bad just because we were like, what is in there? And I can't imagine how like, what is your self-confidence to be able to go into the saloon where everybody knows what you're doing and grabbing porn and then renting it next to a person who's like trying to rent Honey, I Shrunk the Kids for his,
When Harry Met
daughters.
Sally, whatever. Yeah.
You know what? I admire those people that they had to go out in the world to get their porn. They didn't have to hide in the dark recesses.
It was on their to-do list, right? It was like pick up the dry cleaning, rent a porn,
grocery shop, finish laundry.
Yeah.
And they'd have a code word, go to the saloon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Saloon.
And it was like such a small store that like you saw, like it was like next to the horror room. Like it's just so funny the way it was divided that you were like everyone in the store saw you go through the saloon.
Yes.
There was like an array of boat shoes underneath the doors, and you're like, okay.
I wanted to be in that saloon so bad.
Dad, I think the sheriff is in there.
Yeah, I was like, it looks cool.
And then like your basketball coach comes out.
Yeah. This isn't family section. What
principal?
Where's Mrs. Doubtfire? This is not Mrs. Doubtfire. Oh.
Pretty crazy. So now you just watch it on occasion, but you're just cautious about not like, do you feel like the opportunity for you to become obsessed with it as an adult now that because I guess I have a lot of questions or 2 questions. So watching it, like, did it make you excited to have sex or were you content to just masturbate?
Oh no, I prayed to Jesus every day and I said, I had a couple things. I pray that everyone would be okay and that oh my God, this is the first time I've ever said this to anybody. I would pray that my parents would die before they find out I liked women.
Oh.
And it's weird because like 2 years later, I just told my mom and it was great. Like, but that's literally what I said to Jesus.
But that's what you think when you're a kid. You're just like this stuff that you think is the end of the world. And there are some families who make it very hard for people, but even those people can move past that and thrive. So it's like the family's not helping, but then there's like 70% of families that are you think it's the end of the world and you tell them and they're like, yeah, we know.
The end. Yeah, totally. So it was so dire to me. I thought, like, please let them die before they know that I have sex or I want to have sex.
Yeah.
That's how my little mind prioritized things. Like, I hope they never I hope they never find out I want these dirty things.
Yeah.
And then that led to your creation.
Yeah, these perfectly normal dirty things.
It was so shameful. That's how shameful it was for me.
Yeah, that's so heavy.
But I would always cap off the prayers asking for wings.
Yeah.
So I never got wings. And
man.
It started planting seeds. Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's the simplest request.
Like, come on. I would wake up like this with my hands over my shoulders, like maybe there'll be wings there.
And then you go and check and you're like, and my parents are still alive? What the hell, God?
I know.
I'd like to take a brief moment that I thought you meant chicken wings, not flying wings. Although both would be great.
Yeah. That's
The
so
buffalo
funny.
wings, they call me. on the buffalo wings of angels.
That's
Yeah.
right. I was like, flats? Yeah.
It's my prayers.
I'm a ding dong.
I'm gonna
I did
die in
for
a
a brief
Hooters.
for a brief minute. I did think she meant chicken wings also.
That's so much
And then
better.
I was like, oh. Then I was like, you have a problem, Katie. I was like, maybe I am hungry.
Okay, so everyone be okay. Your parents to die before they found out you liked girls or wanted to have sex.
Or had
And
it. Just
Yeah.
even
wing.
before she had it.
Or had it. And wing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But chicken wings.
How long was that? Yeah. I'm so sorry.
No, I love it so much. It's so funny.
How long would you say that was your prayer pattern for?
Pretty much throughout 4th grade. I think near the end it got a little more mature because I got my period and
then you had to start worrying
was
about
just
getting
weirder
pregnant.
and
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Oh, say that again?
No, I said then you had to start worrying about getting pregnant once the period came.
Oh. Well, I wasn't
not on your
concerned
panic
about
list?
that. It wasn't on my panic list because I knew so much about sperm. Like, well,
Fair.
Yeah,
I won't
she
get
was
any
like
of
ready.
that.
I was pretty sure a toilet seat was going to do me in. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that goes back to the misinformation. You know, kids will believe
Yeah.
something. They'll
Yes.
believe
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And I don't think your 4th grader should see so many money shots. But
No.
you know, when I learned that, you know, sperm and the egg make a baby, it's just this nebulous thing, and you see the sperm cell, it's a little dot, you know. But you know, seeing that stuff, I was like, oh, that is what sperm is. Oh my goodness. That's what it is. Okay.
You're like, I'm
Yeah, I
definitely
would
gonna go
argue
near
that
it.
like teens and young men don't also need to see so many of those shots. They could see they could see a kinder, gentler situation where everyone is also having fun.
Yes. Yes, and if I do dabble now, I only go to this site called bellesa.co, not .com, and it's because all the pornography there has been sussed out as consensual,
Oh.
and aggregate free porn sites are rife with terrible
Yeah.
revenge porn, non-consensual acts being filmed. It's so bad, and it's so male gazy, and just the most toxic patterns have emerged in pornography today. So if I want to see that imagery, it's just unfortunate that
Right.
Yeah.
the easiest way to see the most options exposes you to an unhealthy expectation of sex for anybody who is a virgin, for anybody who is curious about sex and has never had it.
Right.
We learned what we saw and what we heard, and now
And then you had to
we
unlearn
have
it.
mainstream.
You had to learn
Unlearn it, yeah.
Yeah.
what it should really be like, or like you know, you deserve to be there too. It's also for you.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Find
I
some
feel like I would
positive
be more
porn.
into it if everything came with a "we're happy to be here" disclaimer.
Laura wants
truly
a video. Yeah.
I truly, because I worry for these people.
She wants a
Yeah.
video where the everybody in the video sits down before fully clothed and is like, "Hey, Laura, we had a great time making this video. We're best friends. We do this for fun, and I didn't do anything I didn't
Yes.
want to
Yes,
do."
and I'd be like, I'm already hot. Let's get going.
I'm so on board with that.
Yeah.
So Bellesa.co and whatever Oprah and Gail are up to, I'll check it out. But those are the only things I look at.
And where can people find you? Because now we've told them how to find porn. Where can people find you?
Anybody listening to this, I only want them to find the porn I watched on Hanukkah, whatever. Like the holiday special.
Yeah.
Veterans Day.
Well, I have 2 seasons of my podcast that I am very proud of. Ring with Renie Rivas. It's on most major platforms. And it would be cool if you can check out some of those old episodes while I'm on hiatus, taking a break, because cranking out all those podcasts on my own is really hard on the elbow. And I need a minute. As you can understand, ladies.
Yes.
It's a lot of work.
Definitely.
All right.
We'll put your social media in all the show notes, and we'll put a link to the podcast in the show notes too. Well, you know what? We'll even throw a link to the porn.
This is going to be our sponsorship.
I hope so. I'd be on board with that.
If you wanted to, I like the idea of people who previously didn't think about the content they're looking at, and maybe, giving a chance to ethical porn.
That's
right.
Farmers
like market your porn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or paying for it, which I haven't done, but I respect, choosing what you want to see and supporting those sex workers. So
yeah. And we had a top OnlyFans content creator on there too, on our website on our podcast. So we highly support paying people directly through OnlyFans. Yeah. Seek out ethical porn, and listen to Renie's podcast, which has nothing to do with porn, but just do it anyway. And, be sure, guys, please rate our podcast. Follow us. We're on YouTube, so you can subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes. And please rate and review. That's a huge help to us. And if you don't even look at YouTube, just go there and subscribe for fun, and then you never have to look at it again.
That's right. Katie's making all our clips look pretty, so shout out to Katie. And do all the things, my usual
all the things,
requests.
Guys.
Do all the things.
Do them. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Right. Thanks for having me, everyone.
Thanks for being here.